ওয়েলকাম টু মাই ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। আশা করি তোমরা সবাই ভালো আছো। আজকে আমি তোমাদের ক্লাস 12 ফোর্থ সেমিস্টারে পোয়েম থেকে কিছু ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোশ্চেন সাজেশন দিয়ে দিচ্ছি। চ্যানেলে যারা নতুন, চ্যানেলটা সাবস্ক্রাইব করে রাখো, আর ভিডিওটা ভালো লাগলে লাইক এবং বন্ধুদের শেয়ার করে দিও। আমি প্রথমে তোমাদের এখান থেকে কিছু 2 মার্কসের কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, তারপরে 6 মার্কসের কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার একবারেই তোমাদের দিয়ে দিচ্ছি। একটু ভিডিওটা বড় হবে, তোমরা একটু লাইন থেকো, সঙ্গে থেকো। তাহলে বন্ধুরা আরম্ভ করে দিচ্ছি। প্রথম কোশ্চেন, হোয়াট ডাজ দ্য পোয়েট মিন বাই নাও আই হোল্ড দ্য ক্রিয়েশন ইন মাই ফুট? By the line in question, the hawk means that he considers himself like a god who controls all creation beneath him. This statement asserts his immense power and dominance. The use of the capital C in creation impresses the hawk's strong sense of superiority and absolute power. Next question. Discuss the significance of the title of the poem. The title Hawk Roasting is significant because it highlights the hawk's dominant position in nature. The word roasting means resting or sleeping in a natural habit. The hawk takes rest with intensity, alerts, and complete control. He takes rest like a king in his place. The title reflects the hawk's pride, power, and sense of superiority. Discuss the theme of Sonnet 73. Sonnet 73 explores the poignant themes of aging, morality, and the transition of life. The speaker reflects on his physical and energetic decline, recognizing the inevitable approach of death. However, it concludes with a heartfelt plea for his lover to cherish him even more preciously because his time is limited, suggesting that the awareness of impending loss deepens love and apprehension. Next question. What does the poet mean by the words "let them have their title time in the sun"? The expression refers to the current generation or perhaps recent generation who are enjoying the benefits of industrialization and consumption without fully acknowledging or addressing the long-term environmental consequences. The sun here represents prosperity, comfort, and perhaps even ignorance. Mention any four events that affect the public has mentioned in the poem The Greenhouse Effect. As told in the poem The Greenhouse Effect by Carl, because of the greenhouse effect and global warming, the public will be affected very badly. They will lose their treatable lands, sunburn areas will be converted to farmhouses. Cities will be full of poor people, and transportation will be so costly that they will have to go to the workplace either by walking or climbing or toilets. Next question. Why is the Temple of Rome mentioned in the poetry The Greenhouse Effect? Once upon a time, the Temple of Rome were the symbol of worship and danger for the Roman people. But with the passage of time, most of them fell due to various reasons. Here, the poet mentions this to give us a reminder that if the greenhouse effect and global warming go on, The European countries will face the same fate as the Temple of Rome. What kind of works are to be done by the citizen as free labor? Because of the greenhouse effect and global warming, the social and economic structure of the so-called cities will be broken. Tax collection will be miserable, so the citizen will have to rake the lawn of the library and city hall. As after sunset fade in the west, what does the what Frederick suggested? The what Frederick suggested a gradual and inevitable decline, disappearance of light, and loss of life force. What shakes against the cold in Sonnet 73? What shakes against the cold in Sonnet 73? Brows shake against the cold, symbolizing the speaker's frail body trembling with age and weakness. Or in sleep, rehearse perfect kills and eat. Who is the speaker? What does he mean by this line? The speaker is the hawk. By this line he means that even in the sleep he practice and prepare for perfect killing. Killing is a skill and he enjoyed it. This reflects his natural instinctive confidence and pride in his hunting abilities. It highlights his strength and his nature as a predator. P. What kind of transposition for cities is a imagine by the poet as the warming trend will go on. As the warming trend will go on, present cities will be desert. Only poor people who will be unable to afford, afford a car will live there. So as transport, they will either walk or use a cart to go to their workplace. What do you mean by federal buildings? A federal building refers to any building, structure, or facility constructed, renovated, leased, or purchased for use by the federal government. This kind of building are normally maintained by the government. Next 13 question answer. What does the speaker internal dialogue will say to ourselves reveal about their attitude? This internal dialogue reveals a resigned and somewhat dismissive attitude. The phrase let them have their little time in the sun indicate a passive acceptance of their own decline and cynical cynical view of the new power's temporary success, suggesting a lack of desire to complete. What kind of works are to be done by the citizen as free labor? Because of the greenhouse effect and global warming, the social and economic structure of the so-called cities will be broken. Tax collected will be miserable, so the citizen will have to take the loan of the library and city hall. এরপরে যাচ্ছি তোমাদের 6 মার্কসের কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সারে। Who is the speaker of the poem Hog Roasting? What does Hughes write from the perspective of an animal in this poem? The hog is the speaker of the poem Hog Roasting. Ted Hughes presents it as the central character and highlights its brute's incentive nature. Hughes write from the perspective of an animal to expose the inner world of the hawk. He wants to poetry and the peculiar nature of its mental functioning, how it sees the world, lacking any emotion or morality. The hawk acts according to its own will, not as a puppet of the poet. As a terrifying bird of prey, the hawk is driven purely by instinct. It was no false dreams, no moral doubt. It is vicious creature whose only perhaps it to hunt and kill. Its violence is direct and unapologetic. As a deeper level, the hawk becomes a symbol of political director, unlike human who disguise their ambition with marks. The hawk is honest in his cruelty. Through this animal voice, he uses citizen the ruthless controlling nature of power. Discuss the various type of image as put forward by Shakespeare in Sonnet 73. In Sonnet 73, Shakespeare employs vivid and symbolic imagery to explore the themes of aging, morality, and the passage of time. Autumn with its yellow leaves represent the decline stage of life, barrenness, and impending death. This image evokes a sense of desolation and loss. The yellow leaves symbolize fading with and loss of physical strength. Twilight with black night symbolize the transition from life to death. It presents a movement from the slow decay of atom to the rapid fading of light. Twilight mirrors the speaker position between life and death. The black night is linked to death's second self, suggesting the finality and universality of death. The most powerful and intimate image of dying fire with ashes of youth suggested the last flicker of virility before extinction. The glowing of such fire speaks of life force that once burned brightly but is now reduced to ashes. The fire consuming consuming itself is a striking paradox, suggesting that life itself brings about its ruin. The deathbed directly confounds morality. Similarly, Barrett ruin chorus is used as a metaphor for abandoned search is symbolized lost beauty and voice. It also suggested the loss of youthful songs of joy. Shakespeare image create vivid contact between the present and the past. Atom lives and spin vividly. Fading fire and the glowing game, bare wind and sweet bird song, fading twilight and daytime Vegar all the images appeal to sight and evoke a strong sense of melancholy and loss. Next question. What event will supposedly takes place according to the poet Carl Dennis in the poem The Greenhouse Effect? In Carl Dennis' poem The Greenhouse Effect, the poet visualized a future shaped by the consequences of climate change, greenhouse effect, and global warming. The event supposedly taking place here. Agriculture shift got terrible land will become so dear the suburbs will give way to firm, indicating a drastic change in land use due to altered environmental conditions. Urban densification. Cities will fill up again with people to pour to own cars, suggesting wide widespread probably and a return to a more localized living as resources become scarce and transports become unavoidable. Shifting global power. Greenland, Greenland and Antarctica will join the new great powers, implying that this region, after significant ice melt, will gain considerable influence. Korea will also become a prominent power in world's order. Economic decline and self resilience. Despite playing the new great power against each other and yet, at the world will still be poorer than we are now. The tax base will be too small to support public building. Citizens will have to donate hours after work each week to maintain public space like the laboratory and city hall. Abandonment in of the plants street. These areas will become green dust bowls, indicating several dot and rendering them uninhabitable, uninhabitable or unsuitable for agriculture. Essentially, the poem paints a picture of a future where environmental degradation leads to significant social, economic, and geographical upheaval. It will force humanity to adapt to a much harsher and more resources constructed extents. Next question. What were the three questions proposed by Zar? How did get the answer? What were the answer? The three questions proposed by the Tsar were: what is the right time to begin everything? Who are the right people to listen to? What is the most important thing to do? The Tsar received varied and contradictory answers from the scholars. Dissatisfied with those response, he went to a wise hermit. By helping the hermit dig and caring for a wounded enemy, he learned through shared experience and got the answer. The answer were: the right time is the present moment. The most important person is the one you are with. The most important thing is to do go, God to do good to the person you are with. Next, next 5 নম্বরের কোশ্চেনটা, why did the thought not agree with the answer of the learned man? Who did the Tsar decided to consult again? What was the person famous for? How did the Tsar go to visit this person? The Tsar did not agree with the answer of the learned men because all their answers were different. None of the answers were rooted in wisdom, and the Tsar was dissatisfied. The Tsar decided to consult a hermit who lived in a forest. The hermit was famous for his innate wisdom, and the Tsar believed that his curiosity could be satisfied by the hermit. The Tsar knew that the hermit received none but common frock, so he put on simple clothes, left his bodyguard behind him, and went on alone. After dismounting from his house's back, he walked up to the clearing where the hermit lived. Next এবং last question. Now I hold creation in my foot. Who says this? Explain the significance of this assertion in the poem. Why does the hawk express its sense of inevitability with the such certainty? This line is spoke by the hawk, the first person speaker of the poem Hawk Roasting by Ted Hughes. The hawk says it holds creation in his foot to show how powerful and important it is. Creation here means the whole natural world. By saying this, the hawk shows that he thinks the things he controls life and death. He thinks everything in nature exists for him. This line expresses the main idea of the poem. The hawk's pride, control, and belief in his own superiority. The hawk feels invincible because he believed he is perfect and powerful. He is made by nature to rule. Nothing can stop him because he was hooked his heads and hook feet, strong wings, and keen eyes. He believed that nature and the sun are on his side. This pride and control makes the hawk sure he can never be defeated. আচ্ছা বন্ধুরা, আশা করি তোমরা আজকের কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার বুঝতে পেরেছো। নেক্সট আমি ড্রামা থেকে কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার তোমাদের দিয়ে দেবো। ড্রামা থেকে তোমাদের লং কোশ্চেন আসবে, কোনো শর্ট কোশ্চেন আসবে না। লং কোশ্চেন 5 মার্কসের আসবে, একটা অ্যান্সার তোমাদের দিতে হবে। আমি তোমাদের নেক্সট ড্রামা থেকে কোশ্চেন অ্যান্সার দিয়ে দেবো। আর ভিডিওটা ভালো লাগলে বন্ধুদের শেয়ার করে দিও। আচ্ছা বন্ধুরা, ভালো থেকো।